And he's like, what are you talking about? Out of all of us, Tin is the weird one.
Where did he learn all those things from? Like, how did he love
Yeah.
everyone? He's the youngest child.
Being spoiled as the
Yeah.
youngest child too. Yep.
สวัสดีครับ Hi everyone, I'm Ponlawit เกตประภากร from Thailand, an actor here, and I played as Chatthorn in The Edge of Our Horizon.
And we are your hosts, Kim and Banana. We hope you are ready to dive into the magic that is Pon's character Shat in The Edge of Horizon. Before we dive into him, we need to do our icebreaker question, which we ask all of the guests on our show. And that is, do you watch anime? And if you do, what is your favorite anime?
I love anime. I've always read manga.
Okay, so what's your favorite manga?
Naruto when I was younger. For 10 years, I think. For a long time, yeah. I'm a big fan of it.
That's actually how Kim and I became friends.
Really?
Yeah, we both like the series, so we became friends.
It's like the childhood dream of every kid. I think they're making some
Live action, yeah.
I was like, who's gonna audition? Oh, that's so fun. I love Naruto. That's a really good one. Honestly, I still think about it today, so I feel like I got it at a good time in my youth.
When I say Naruto, it's because we look at it as like anime, like some character, like a childhood thing, but the characters inside them are like so, the depth and all the storylines, everything is so full as a whole. Like every character, like they're so human beings. So I love it.
Yeah, there's so much depth and complexity to them.
And I think I just want to add, we had the opportunity to go to your art exhibit last year. I was looking at the different characters there. I kind of had this feeling like, I think he likes anime. I don't know why, but like, I felt it.
Yes. I think from anime we can learn so much, like from all the imagination of like all the surreal stuff that goes on in their world. I think it's like an expansion of our real world, the world we live in. I think that's really interesting. So I think that's how a lot of people actually take inspiration from, because they like it, they love it, fun to watch, fun to read, and then all the characters everyone can relate to.
And there's always some kind of like goal about, overcoming obstacles and reaching your dreams, which I feel like all of us have some level of aspiration, right? Well, that is super awesome to hear. And honestly, speaking about characters and storytelling, your character in The Edge of Horizon has been a really interesting character, a really fun character, a really frustrating character, a character that we would really love to learn more about. For our first question, within the first 2 minutes of us being introduced to Chat, your character, we witnessed a huge temper tantrum for him, like a temper tantrum from a toddler. So we were kind of curious. You were so good at embodying this, and your acting, the way that he reacts to things is just so good. We were just kind of curious, like, what were some of your inspirations for drawing out this type of a personality in a character?
First of all, thank you. It's just as you just said it. He's like a baby, a grown-up baby. From all the storyline, I don't want to spoil much. From his storyline, from his relationship with his family, all the status thing that's happening during those times, like it was quite long ago. There's still status, and he probably got pampered a lot growing up from his surroundings, from everyone. First thing that I saw in him is a baby who's grown up, a big baby, that's all. Yeah, so I think it's drawing out that baby side of human being, of him, that's interesting, because I think we have it all in us, but we just push it so deep down inside of us. But for Chat, he's got this big baby energy.
We need that on a shirt.
Big baby energy.
Big baby energy, yeah.
When we were watching, I used to be a preschool teacher, and I feel like watching you, like you so perfectly degraded into that temper tantrum that I had like actual flashbacks of some of the 3-year-olds that I used to teach.
He's a character that is like all reactionary, which is very interesting. That's a very interesting type of character because they're very unpredictable, but predictable somehow. I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of unpredictable, but when you watch him, when you see him, talk to him, you kind of feel familiar to this temperament. There's something that's familiar, not used to seeing this in real life, in our surroundings, in our workplace. It's very hard to find.
I feel like Chat is kind of falling into that role that we see in typical Lacons as, like almost like, I guess the best way I could describe it is like the Team Rocket type person who just keeps like showing up to like get the dirt on somebody. However, the difference though between the typical Lacon type Snoop versus Chat is that he feels so much more like a real person, very three-dimensional. We're seeing a lot of depth with him as each episode goes on versus a typical villain who they're very two-dimensional in like what they want and how they just kind of like keep poking their noses where they don't belong. So with that role, did you encounter any challenges when making him feel more like a real person that watchers can sympathize with versus just a character who is simply creating obstacles?
Definitely, there's a lot of obstacles because when I read the script for the first time in Lakorn, the dialogue, some Lakorn dialogue is very typical. It's very similar to every evil characters in each storyline. There is some similarities over there. I think the talent lies in the choices that we make in our characters, and to find the new choices within the same dialogues, I think that's the creative part. I have to kind of get out of the box and just get to know him, get to find all the little things in his life that can inspire each dialogue to be different. We all say that no characters is purely evil, no characters just want to mess everyone up. Maybe some, I'm not sure. I've never played one. The challenge lie there to find the objectives, to find the something in his life that he wants. Like for Chad at least, which is never to just ruin the other's life. For example, if you watch this series, he's got this conflict with he's always trying to mess him up because jealousy, because of everything. Because at the end, it's not about messing him up. It's about making Chad himself feels good. It's about making it like he's better, he's above in that process he messed him up. So I think there's like some layers to that. Why would someone want to just spend his life, energy, his whole heart to just mess someone up? Yeah, I can't find the rationality in that. I think we have to go beyond that and find something else in his objective.
I feel like in the recent episode as well, when he had come into all of the money from the mining investments and he bought himself a car, but then he also used money to buy his grandma a gift and then also the things for the servants as well, which I thought was really interesting because that I would not have expected of him. Like, okay, yes, he wants approval from his family, but then also from the rest of the household. That was kind of an unexpected move, I thought. He said it's about him feeling good, and it's like just getting that, winning over others in some way. It's just interesting. Every episode, it's like just a new layer is revealed.
I think the storylines kind of reveal his characters a lot over the time. Like for now, it's about half the series, right? But for the last half, the second half, I think it's going to be more interesting that way. When you talk about buying gifts for his family, I think the big baby energy, that's the key message of his character. Like when he hates with his whole heart. He would do anything to mess the other person up in the process. But when he loves someone, that's a different thing too. His character got this amazing depth when he hates and when he loves, the elevation of his love for his family, for his brother, father, especially his grandmother. I think the depth there is what makes him more human to everyone.
That's so true. And something I kind of wanted to add, like part of this as well, is that something that I feel like you've done exceptionally well in this series and kind of conveying the depth that your character has is I feel like your body language throughout all of the scenes is so key as well. You were talking about shaping dialogue and choosing like how to deliver that dialogue to really kind of like convey. But I also feel like the body language that you use in a lot of the scenes is really good as well because they create kind of like the sense of this like nervous person that just wants to be validated. I don't know. As I watched it, I've just felt like I see that so much coming through your acting. I thought about that too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, definitely. Like everything, like the body language, the tone of voice, the choice of like the tone to use for this character, or even I wouldn't say the volume, but there's a lot of like shouting involved, but he's got big baby energy. We don't talk like civilized human being.
Yeah.
It all goes together, even his body, his judgment. It all comes from how he judge others, how he see other people, who he sees as equal, who he sees as above him, and who he sees as below him. And there's a lot of judgment over there, and his body kind of goes with it. And when his judgment is so unfiltered, the body language becomes so unfiltered as well. So it kind of released everything he feels through his body as well.
It's very, very driven by his emotions.
Yeah, he's very dramatic.
And I guess kind of thinking about him as a character and kind of like all the emotions that he is embodying, I imagine, there is like a little bit of competition between him and his brother with regards to kind of like their father and their father's attention and whatnot. And I'm not sure exactly exactly with Chat if that kind of does have a little bit of like jealousy or like resentment involved. But our next question is just kind of what is one thing that Chat absolutely loves about his brother? Like just loves about Tin.
He's his brother. That's the one thing that makes him care about who he cares for. Family is family. Blood comes before everything. There is status and everything, but yes, family is his number one priority in his life.
That's so interesting because he probably projects that to other people as well.
Again, I don't want to spoil much. Even when he's very angry, he's aggressive towards In, but very few is towards his own brother. And he's respectful towards his father and his grandmother. That kind of tell us who he really is, who he respects, who he loves, who he gives space to, who he sees as his equal, who he adore. But when he doesn't adore them, he's going full on.
I'm going to change the question a little bit. So would you say that because Tin is family, he doesn't blame Tin for anything, like in being more like smarter, getting more love and attention from his dad? Does he doesn't feel any blame towards Tin for that?
Maybe?
Watch and find out. No, I don't know.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yes, I have siblings. I'm the middle child. I think everyone with siblings would definitely knows this feeling of jealousy of your own brothers and sisters, of maybe looking up to them. Sometimes we are angry at them, but at the end of the day, most of the time, if we love them, we love them. When we grow up together, we kind of know them. We play together. We eat together. It's just there is this bond that we kind of feel when we are just siblings. I think that's for me though.
Amongst siblings, there's always a favorite sibling. I'm the oldest sibling of 3 as well, and there's no resentment about it. It's just like a fact of life. Like, yep, that one's the favorite.
I'm an only child. I'm sorry.
But one thing is for sure is that Chat in the story, he's the elder brother, and during those time or our time, the older brother usually is the one who leads the family in our culture. So he should be the one who lives up to his family's name, to his father's expectation, to the society's expectation of this family, to find a good mate, someone he would be proud to present to the society at that time. So that's one thing for sure, that he got that expectation, he got pressure as well, and that's what pushed him towards kind of a resentful side of the expectation thing.
I know we've just done this whole spiel about how family is family, but do you think if Chat wasn't feeling so competitive for his father's attention and approval, do you think he would be more supportive of his brother's relationship with Pulp, even as just friends? Or does he truly just see Pulp as someone who is lesser than him, who doesn't deserve any of this? Or is that also driven by emotions?
Nah, zero support for their relationship. If it goes above like servant, if their relationship goes beyond that, he wouldn't be supportive of it. What he lives for is for his family to maintain their own status. So when Tin do that, it kind of degrade his own brother. That's what he feels. That's why even when he doesn't know that they're in love, but their relationship is so tight, when he saw that Tin and In are always together, he would always say it out loud, and he's not afraid to say it out, to point it out, to mix up, to always stand together, to always talk together, live together. Their relationship kind of makes others look at him badly. There's a lot of love for his own brother, but at the same time, there's a lot of hate there as well. That's the gray area that we kind of have to search for in this type of character as well.
Yeah, because he's really complex. There's a lot of layers there. Do you think Chat is kind of like looking for power in a sense, or do you feel like he would really just love having someone being proud of him?
I think it's the second part.
Someone to be proud.
For Chat, he already has power. In his life, in the story, he has power over everything except someone above him. Father, his grandmother, yeah, that's who he respects. Those below him in the status ladder, he has power over everyone else. He already has it. The thing that he doesn't have since he was young is his father's love, to make his dad proud. I think that's the one thing that he truly wants. That is so sad.
It is.
I mean, it's not his fault that he's born into that family with that status, with everything except his dad's love.
I just find it very sad because with the way that the series is shaping up and the whole plot line that it seems to be following, I don't foresee Chat getting that.
But we want it. We want it so badly.
Despite who he is, we would love to see that happen for his character. If something happened to his grandmother and father, and Chat became the leader tomorrow, what is the first law do you think he would put into effect?
If he's smart, I don't know what he would do. If he has that intellectual ability to do it, probably he would do everything in his power to keep and maintain the status ladder.
I 100% thought you were going to be like, get in, out.
Banned from the country.
Well, for that, he's always has that idea of he's above in and he has power over his life. Well, that's the one thing that's very interesting to me because during that time in Thailand, before playing this, we got a lot of historical lessons. And during that time, he actually has the power to heal him. He got enough power to do that always along the way, but he's never done that. And I think that's very interesting. Like he got the power to do that without getting into much trouble. In one way, he's got this mercy for in. And he feels good about it. Like, it's because I have mercy for you. That's why you're still living.
He is such an interesting character. That's a really fun fact, though. Like, because truthfully, we do not know a lot about the history of Thailand during the era that the series takes place. So hearing about things like that is very interesting.
Okay, so in your history lessons that you had to take, what was your favorite historical fact that you learned?
The interesting thing is that we got to learn about the revolution cycles of Thailand.
Okay, so this is based on historical events?
Inspired from.
Inspired, okay.
We did learn the actual thing that happened. So we can relate to those times, like which character is inspired from who in real life. There's an actual person that's inspired from. All the situation that happens is also inspired from the real historical event.
That's cool.
Hey, what is one compliment Chat would die to hear right now?
One compliment? Maybe it's from his family's dad and Tin. Both of them together saying, Chat, I'm so proud of you and you're so much better than him. I think that would make his life fulfilled. He would die happy, tears of joy, like, I made it! I'm better than him!
That's so funny.
It is interesting, though, that he wants to hear that, and that kind of implies that he would be very against the whole revolution and wanting to keep social statuses in place, just because seeing Pulp rise from where he was from a servant to an army general, that's very threatening to him.
I was using his real name all the time. I was calling him it. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Everyone knows who you meant.
Oh, sorry. Okay, Pop and Tin, I'm sorry.
To be honest, I didn't even notice because I knew what it was. So.
In wanting to hear that he's so much better than Pulp, that really goes to show that how threatened he feels by seeing somebody rise from being a servant to an army general, just being given all those opportunities that he feels people shouldn't be given if they are not from the right social classes. In that sense, he's a little bit evil.
That social status gives him his power. He has never understood equality, like freedom, those stuff. He's never heard of it. All he's seen in his life is his dad. As we've seen, his dad is the same as him.
If you take away the big baby energy, the emotion is still there.
It's all in the eyes.
Yeah, especially with how Chad and his dad, when they speak to someone lower than them, and when they kind of get aggressive, it's the exact same way they speak. I kind of get that inspiration as well when I played with Pichai, the actor who played that. The character kinds of grow throughout the whole process of the filming process. So that's very interesting.
He's like, why are you upset at me? I learned all this from you.
When his dad scolded him in the recent episodes, kind of like, are you really my son or are you really... I don't know the exact translation.
Oh, yeah. Are you the son of a buffalo? Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Are you like a human or are you an animal?
And he's like, what are you talking about? Out of all of us, Tin is the weird one.
Where did he learn all those things from? Like, how did he love everyone? He's the youngest child.
Being spoiled as the youngest child, too. Yep. If Chat had a personal motto, aside from big baby energy, what do you think it would be?
I don't gamble. I calculate. That's very contradicting, yeah, but that's his motto. That's how he thinks.
That'll be on the back of the shirt.
I don't gamble, I calculate. But his calculation is just, that's why.
Yeah, he's just not good at math. All right, well, we're going to jump into a game now. So that's the end of our question portion, but we're going to do a fun little game. So this game is called a character review, and we have gathered some qualities that most people have in varying degrees, and we are going to ask you to rate Chat on these qualities 1 to 5 stars, with 1 being not so great and 5 being amazing. Okay, so the very first one is reliability.
Reliability? 1? Yeah. maybe one. Yeah, one probably.
Lucky number two, the next one. Let's see how we do.
All right, loyalty.
Loyalty? That's through the roof. Maybe 5. If there's 6, I would go with 6. He's so loyal to his family and to himself, especially. He don't lie. He doesn't like it. He scream.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's true.
Yeah.
He's not a liar.
He's very loyal to himself.
How about leadership?
Leadership. Has there been any occasion where he has to be a leader? I don't think so. He's trying to earn it. I mean, I'm having very difficult conversation in my head. For leadership, it kind of depends on what he's about to lead. If he's to lead his family, it's gonna be a little hard. But if, for example, Chad is not a royalty and he's one of the people and he's up for the uprising and revolution, he would be a damn good leader. Got that energy that can build everyone up.
Yeah, so that's actually one of the qualities we have listed here is determination.
Oh, that's a 5.
That's a 5.
He's so determined. So determined in the wrong thing.
Right. What about decision making?
Decision making? 0, I think.
0, not even a 1.
Not even a 1. Every decision he makes, that's a wrong one.
This poor guy.
But he's determined. That's
very
what. He's determined. He got the heart to do the things.
He does, yeah.
That's the wrong intellectual decision making.
What about risk assessment?
Wow. I think I would go with his motto. I don't gamble, I calculate. He's got that high risk assessment of everything. Because when you look at it, Pop is the one thing that's keeping him from his ultimate realization in his life, maybe. And if he gets rid of Pop in his mind, that would fix everything, right? So from his perspective, he actually got a very high level of risk assessment. And Pop is the real risk in his life.
I mean, technically, he's not wrong. Pop
Yeah.
is a pretty big risk.
Yeah, very big risk in his life.
100%.
From our perspective, probably a 0.
I think he just has a hard time with the risk assessment of his own decision making.
It all goes together, but he doesn't balance it out. He's got like this roller coaster, like 5-0, 5-0-1.
Well, what do they say? A broken clock is right twice a day.
He might have to balance everything out. Doesn't have that capability.
And our last one for the game is entertainment value.
Entertainment. I think this question we would have to ask everyone, the viewers, everyone who watch it, who sees him. A lot of people came up to me and they were like, from the last episode, you bring me on this roller coaster. Like from the start, I kind of hate Chad, and then I suddenly I got empathy for him. I kind of slowly love him, and then I hate him again. And then why would he do that? And I hate him more. And then he actually got his reason. And then I hate him. Yeah, there's this roller coaster going on. I love him, but I have my own like bias.
You're like, if I knew him, I would tell him I'm proud of him.
Yeah, so proud of him. And then why do that? There's a lot of questions going on.
And meanwhile, you're just like, I'm so sorry, but thank you. All right, so viewers, how would you rate Chat for entertainment value, 1 through 5, and list your reasons? So that actually brings us to the end of the game. But before we end the interview, we've been bombarding you with all of our questions this whole time. So now it is your turn to ask us or fans any questions that you might have.
Maybe after you've watched the whole series, the ending of it, what happens after that? It would be very interesting to kind of ask that question, especially for a character such as Chat. Like what happens after the series, after what happens in his world, how he lives his life next, how he transformed himself, where he would go. There's a lot of questions that it's very interesting for me to ask myself. And we have finished the whole production, the filming part, the whole process. And I would always ask the producers, like, is there going to be a second part, like a part 2, maybe a season 2? I don't know, like
Special episode.
Yeah, special episode, because I love this character so much and I would love to see him grow into another situation, I would just love to explore this character more. That's the one thing that I would want to ask every one of you. What happens after this?
That's a really good question, because you really have to ask, like, is all the events in this enough to make him grow?
Will he change into like someone else, or will he stay like this big baby energy?
Ah, that's so interesting. I mean, I feel this way a lot of the times watching different series. There are some characters that you kind of really want to know, what does their life look like after everything? Who do they become? What opportunities do they get? What are their new dreams, right? Or are they chasing old dreams? I feel like that's a question that really lingers for especially really complicated characters that have a lot of layers or characters that have a lot of lessons to learn. Like their character arc is actually quite big, right? Like there's a lot of room for change and development because of just where they start. I find that to be really interesting too. I'll have to answer after I see it though.
Yeah, now like I'm actually like
Yeah.
really pondering like will he have the capacity to grow with this one?
Because there are a lot of people who root for him as well. I don't know what they root for, but probably to see him like become happy
Yeah.
someday. I don't know.
I think we're all kind of hoping for some personal growth. We see the capacity in there with him, but it's just like he's stuck, you know, hammering against this wall of obstacles that is constantly disappointing his father and things like that that kind of feel like that set him back and don't allow him to grow.
I would say, like, from a character perspective, too, if I was really thinking about it, what we see is a character that's constantly trying to find validation from other people. And sometimes watching a character like that, you're waiting for the moment where they find that within themselves. So maybe they're not so dependent on other people approving of them and what they're doing, but they become their own person and they feel confident in the decisions that they make. And that kind of allows them to become their own power in their life. It's a cool character. He's very complex.
Good luck, chat.
But that's especially towards the ending of this series. I just hope that everyone looks forward to it because there's a lot of thing that happens in the development of situations and characters as well. Not just chat, but everyone in the storyline. Maybe after that, maybe if we meet again, we can talk about it.
We can break everything down. Thank you for joining us today for this interview. It has been absolutely wonderful. It's been so fun talking about your character, Chat. Very complex character with a lot going on and a lot of growth that I feel like a lot of fans are really looking forward to seeing. For all of our fans tuning in, if you have not yet started watching The Edge of Horizon, you can catch it every Saturday on Gaga Ulala. So please tune in. It's an amazing series. And if you haven't started it, you are definitely missing out. And if you have not already subscribed to our channel, please hit that subscribe button below. We really hope to see you guys next time. Thank you so much and bye-bye.
Thank you.